Giddy up, guys. Thanks so much for tuning into Wager Wise Network. I'm Cowboy back with another First and Goal today, 4:30, October 30th, Thursday, 2025 on ESPN. We're heading down to San Antonio, Texas. The Alamo Dome, UTSA Roadrunners hosting the Tulane Green Wave. Currently, the line is Tulane minus 5.5. There's 1 6.5 out there, 1 4.5 out there, 1 3.5 out there, but consensus line is 5.5. Over under at 53.5. This did open up at 4.5, and over under did open up at 55.5. It's seen some steam come down to the under. A lot to say about this game, but before pack our bags and head out to San Antonio, home of the big women, a word from our sponsors. What is Overtime? Guys, I'm signed up on it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's a crypto sports book with no KYC or limits for players. It's accessible anywhere in the world and offers everything from a traditional bookie would have. Live betting, same game parlays, player props, thousands of lines for over 20 sports, plus way more. Now, the biggest difference here is, guys, and this is where you need to pay attention, you can never get banned, blacklisted, or even refused a payout on Overtime. Why? It's all on the chain. You can bet with cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin, stable coins. Signing up takes just a few clicks. Guys, I figured it out. I am by no means a crypto bro, nothing to that level. You can use your email, socials, crypto wallet. You can even fund your account with major exchanges like Coinbase or Robinhood. So how do you do it? You click the link in the description and check this out. You bet $10. If you use that link, they'll send you a free $20 bet. I'm taking all my crypto action here, guys, now. I got all my boys using it. So hit the link, sign up, get your free $20 bet. You got nothing to lose. Make sure you click that Overtime link, get in. Let's start with UTSA. UTSA 3-4 in season 1 and 2 in the American Conference. You guys know this UTSA team, man. Go, go, go. Offense, offense. Fire, fire, fire. This is what this team's done. Quality. I'll say this: they've played a pretty tough schedule so far this season. Kind of 3-4 isn't necessarily that bad in this. Started out with a loss at Texas A&M, where they did actually cover 42-24, found a backdoor way. They lost versus Texas State. Texas State, not necessarily a great team this year, but all things considering, I think the hope in Texas State was still alive in the second week, and different team now, kind of let down. Went over Incarnate Word, went over Colorado State, went over Rice. 3 not necessarily great teams. I don't think any one of those 3 teams is seeing a bowl this year. Well, Incarnate Word's not. And then a loss to Temple and a loss to North Texas, an absolute blowout loss to North Texas, 55-17. North Texas is going to make a bowl. Texas A&M is going to make a bowl, potentially playoff, potentially win the SEC. Temple's, I think Temple's right there as a bowl team, 5-3. So 3 bowl team losses, and then 1 loss to Texas State, who's once again early in the year wasn't necessarily the poorest of performances, but you lost outright. UTSA. What do we need to talk about this team? I mean, you guys kind of know what this team does. I mean, this team absolutely goes out there and just fires the football. They run the football. They pass the football. They do it all. One of the quickest teams in the nation. Absolutely play at a breakneck pace. Offensive drive per game, 30th in the nation for offensive drive per game. Offensive explosion. Everything's downfield. Everything's big plays. 6th of the nation in offensive explosion, and 42nd in the nation in points per play margin. Like I said, team just goes. One of the best red zone teams in the nation, too. Offensive red zone conversion percentage, 90% in the nation. Offensive red zone touchdown rate, 44th in the nation. You guys catch the drift here. What I'm telling you is this Drift Trailer's got this team going with an offense, and they're pretty offensive-centric. That's what they do. Defensively, they're not that bad either. I mean, all things considering, I know the scores haven't looked great, but, the numbers say that they're okay at defense. They're not great, but they're okay. I got them as a 73rd in power ratings, and they 78th in power ratings, and their numbers outplay the 78th rating. Flip that over to Tulane. Tulane is fighting for their American lives. Tulane's right there in the hunt to take down the American title, 3-0 in conference. The only loss Tulane has suffered so far this season was at Ole Miss. Not necessarily a bad thing. Ole Miss is another team that very well easily could be a playoff team, very well easily could be an SEC championship team. Beat Northwestern pretty convincingly. Northwestern's turned out to be a pretty quality football team. Struggled on the road against South Alabama. All things considering, you very easily could have lost that game. South Alabama had an opportunity to get a 2-point conversion to tie that game, send it to overtime, and then who knows what happens. Beat Duke convincingly. Duke did put up a little fight late. The offense for Tulane kind of sputtered out, and then beat Tulsa, ECU, and Army. Tulsa game, 31-14. That's a pretty good. I don't want to say it's a good win, but there was really one quarter that won it for them. They're pretty flat most of the game. So one thing I have noticed is Tulane team at home, pretty good program. On the road, haven't been the cleanest. They are on the road. They are 1-2 ATS. They were a favorite against South Alabama. They were a favorite against Tulsa, dog against Ole Miss. The only game they did cover was Tulsa, and that was predominantly the second quarter. You eliminate that second quarter, Tulsa played with them in the other three quarters. So something to be noted. Quality opponent, like I said, not bad. Northwestern bowl team, Duke bowl team, Ole Miss bowl team, East Carolina bowl team, and I don't think Army's 3-4. They're not making a bowl team. So you do have some wins over some bowl teams. We'll give them, 4 bowl teams that you beat. So that's pretty quality. In fact, strength of record is ESPN strength of record's 20th, and the strength of schedule is 48th. So doing something all right here. What does Tulane do well? They're not necessarily the greatest defensive rushing team you can run against this team. That is something they've been pretty pale at. 116th in PPA rush in the nation. As far as defense stuff rate, 136. So they're not getting a ton of penetration on the line. So who have they faced, though, really, that has been a rushing team? That's kind of the concern, in my opinion. Northwestern's a rushing team. You did okay against them. I always tell you guys, week 0, week 1, take lightly, tread lightly. Guys, kids are coming off summer. I mean, we were all kids once. We know how we acted this summer. These guys are still 18. I know they get paid. South Alabama, I guess they're a rushing team to an extent. Duke, not really a rushing team. Duke's more of a throwing team. Ole Miss is a everything team. Just an explosive team, and they struggled there, but that's talent level gap. Tulsa passing team, ECU passing team. Army is a rushing team. Army actually had some success against them too. Army lost that game 24-17, and Tulane had to fight back late to get that thing. Army was up 17-10. Tulane had to fight late. How does this game break down? I think you're going to see UTSA, who can run the football. They, and they're an explosive team. I think you're going to see them have some moderate success against this Tulane defense. I don't think Tulane's defense is anything it's not necessarily the defenses of old. It's not that they're not necessarily built about that. They're more of an offensive team. And I think you see that kind of be problematic against a team like UTSA, who's like, okay, you want to go to war, you want to go score points, fine. I'm your Huckleberry. We'll try it. On the flip side of things, I do think Tulane's going to have an easy time scoring against UTSA. UTSA's defense this season, like I said, the numbers look good, but the results necessarily aren't great. And when you factor in quality of opponent, Rice, Colorado State, Incarnate Word, those are the 3 best defensive performances. Now, they did hold Temple to 27 points. Temple, similar style of offense to Tulane, and they only scored 21 against Temple. I think Temple's defense pretty parallel to Tulane's. I don't think there's much of a gap in between the two. We're talking, if you're grading in the 50s, to the 60s. I'm not talking about defenses like Ohio State's, guys. We're talking about defenses from mid-major conferences that can be susceptible at times. The talent isn't necessarily there to always step up and rise to the occasion. So I think you're going to see a lot of success from the UTSA offense, and I do think you'll see some moderate success from Tulane's offense. Market likes the under here. I understand that. It's 55.5. And if you look at Tulane's games, they have been a little more defensive centric, and you have seen UTSA go on scoring droughts at a time. There's a couple factors in this game, though, that I do like. UTSA coming off a bye week, well, as is Tulane, but their last game, they got their heads kicked in, 55-17 by North Texas. And I've told you guys once, I've told you guys twice, I like it when a team loses big by margin. I feel like, especially after a week off, especially with a week off afterwards, you kind of have to sit there and marinate in it and think about, it's like a dog soiling on the carpet, man. It sits there and thinks about it. It's a similar situation. It's like, man, we have to sit here and think about this 55-17 loss for 14 days before we get another football game. Actually, longer than that, I guess. If you had a bye week, it'd be, and you play on Thursday. So you guys catch my drift. You have to sit there and think about it. I think UTSA is going to definitely throw a punch here. I think UTSA is going to be able to maybe maintain with them here. Market has been all over the place on this thing. You haven't seen a buyback on UTSA yet. I think people are waiting to get that 6. As I've told you guys in previous videos, 6s and 7s. Yeah, key number is still going to be 7, 7.5, but we're finding out more and more with advanced metrics that 6s are pretty important in their own right. You're finding out with people going for 2 late in the fourth quarter. It's transitioning from the NFL down to college now. 6s are starting to matter. So I think when you see a 6, you'll probably see a buyback on UTSA. Well, it's not there yet, so we got to record this video. We're recording this video on a Wednesday night, so we got to go with the numbers we have. I'll still lay it with Tulane here. I think -5.5 is fine. We get to a 6, I would consider a buyback on UTSA. I think Tulane is the better team. I am not going to bet this. I'm a little bit fearful. Tulane's kind of been fucking around, and they might find out. Like I told you, they were down to Army at home, and they've been pretty pale on the road, as I stated. I think the road performances have been pretty meek. You know, one strong quarter at Tulsa really separated that game. Blowout loss to Ole Miss, and then South Alabama, a similar situation. Well, I mean, they started out great in the first half, but they gave South Alabama come up and score 17 points in a quarter. This team doesn't play a full game on the road, and with a high-power offense like UTSA, you can blink and UTSA can put up 17, 21 points in 3 drives, and you're going, shit, what happened now? How do we get back in this game? We're not necessarily a high-power offense to build up. Retzlaff's great. He's able to run the football. He's able to throw the football quality-wise. He's a gamer. We love quarterbacks like that, but if you're behind the 8 ball, you're still behind the 8 ball. So that being said, I'm still leaning Tulane here. Tulane -5.5. If it gets to a 6, go ahead, buy back on South Alabama. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Official pick, Tulane -5.5. 10 minutes in the books. I'll catch you guys at the window.